This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or for more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
We're different than Western Kansas in the fact our aquifer is recharging, and it's very, very, very close to being sustainable. We're separate from the Ogallala Aquifer or the Central Prairie.
Great Bend Prairie Plains Aquifer,
yeah.
I think is what it's referred to. Quivira was originally started by a duck hunting club back in the 40s, and they dammed up the Rattlesnake and cut a channel to fill the Little Salt Marsh, the dry marsh, with water. Sometime in the 50s, I believe, is when the conservation group, which was Quivira, eventually bought the duck hunting club out and expanded the refuge and their ideas and used the eminent domain process to remove some farms and farm ground between the Little Salt Marsh and the Big Salt Marsh. And then after that was done, there's over 26 miles of inland canals that they use to move around to some natural ponds, but the majority of them are man-made ponds for the refuge. Our issue with Quivira and what started this is they are not getting enough water when they want it. They changed a management plan, I believe in early 2010s, and to more of we need to drain it in the spring and summer to plant feed for shorebirds and stuff, and then we want to be able to fill it up in August, September, October, which is when the natural flows on Rattlesnake Creek are at their lowest. And it's not an issue of there not being enough water that passes through Quivira. It's an issue of timing and where and when they need their water today. Whereas previous management a few years ago, they would slug water anywhere they could put it and push it off so they could move it around later. And management has kind of changed that at this time.
Water rights in Kansas, it's really pretty simple. First in time, first in right. Doesn't matter what beneficial use the water's going towards. It still goes back to first in time, first in right. Quivira's water right dates back to, I think, 1957, which is, it's a very senior right, so they're very high on the priority list. And it's not just farmers that are being potentially affected by this. Here, locally, the Stafford County Flour Mill in Hudson, they use water to temper their wheat to mill to make their flour, and their water right is being impacted just like my irrigation rights on my farm. There's a couple junior water rights that a city owns that the city is going to have impacts as well. So it's not just farmers that are impacted, it is the whole community.
Right now, the GMD5 board and Kansas Farm Bureau and WaterPack and other groups are back at the table with the Department of Interiors, is where we understand it is. We set with a 1-year reprieve yet to see if the groups can't work this thing out together. Our GMD board has a solution that looks like, to most of us, it is very doable, very workable. It's basically, KGS has said that we need to cut 2.5% to make our aquifer sustainable for 250 plus years. Their management proposal is to remove end guns, which will exceed the 2.5%, and to put in an augmentation field, all on the irrigators' backs as far as the tax paying, but that augmentation field will deliver in August, September, and October We'd like to go directly to the ponds, but at least to the property line, to the creek, so they will have the water on the timing issue when they need it.
By doing their proposal, it minimizes the economic impacts to the community in general, where there will be some expense and cost, but everyone will be able to stay in business. And
in my opinion, it's really a win-win for both sides. We keep our economy, we keep our counties, we keep us healthy. We're putting the water to beneficial use, which is what the chief engineer is supposed to do. And yet, it also is a win for Quivira because they get the water when they want it to better manage their refuge that is man-made. It's like, why not finish the project that was started and finish it right?